We will present you one more talk. It's going to be founder at Tomsky. Please welcome Lev.
Hello. Earlier today, we talked about the ground truth level of Ton application, and we went quickly through an overview of what it should look like in general on all the levels. And I mentioned before that there are two levels which are the most important in their own ways. One is the ground truth, and another is the front end, because that's what the user actually sees. And so today we're going to talk about the one of the best ways to create a Tone application that will be uh, great at distribution, and that's building a Telegram web app. Uh, Hello, I'm Lev. I'm a founder at Tonsky, and I'm also a founding engineer at Gazprom, which is a Telegram web app to create meme coins. And a Telegram app is not just a simple web application. It should usually have uh, so there are a variety of use cases for Telegram apps. So for instance, this is a bot that my friend created. Actually, the generates animations on faces, and there are a lot of games and other mini apps. And one of the main advantages of building a mini app is that the barrier for a user to use it is much lower, which means that your coefficients of spreading will be much faster, highly which increases your chances of creating a viral app. Because what we need for that is for the transmission coefficient to be higher than one, and so every little step is very important. So, how hard is it to build a Telegram app? Well, thanks to the good tools which were developed recently, it's not hard at all. And the first thing you need is to just create a bot through Botfather, and then you have to set up the menu button to open the web app. And afterwards, you will need to create a basic server, and you need basically two components. One is the web app itself, which is just a simple HTTP server, and then you also need the bot to handle the stack messages. And usually, you want to offload most of the things to the web app, because the Telegram rate limits for sending a lot of messages to a lot of users are for sometimes do not allow to send too many messages if you want to notify all of your user base. Whereas for web apps, a lot of things are much easier. And after that, you need to install the SDK of the app, and there's a variety of ways you can do that. There's the basic Telegram library, but also there's the newly developed companion for creating a Telegram app, and you can just install run the creator script, and it will do a lot of things for you. And in fact, it will also host the front end for you. Uh, that way is the create mini app script recently launched by Con Foundation, and you can just run it in the terminal, select the language you want to use, the framework, everything, and then it will be live. So one thing you want to do is to use native AI components, and the part of Ton Foundation responsible for Telegram apps actually conducted some research into what increases retention and user growth in Telegram apps, and some predictably using native AI components is really, really helpful to that. Because it again lowers the barrier for a user to open it, and it feels like it's native Telegram. So you want to integrate with this functionality as much as possible. In particular, you want to create the back button, you want to use the settings button and native pop-ups as well as the menu button. And also one small touch is that you want to integrate the haptics. It's when you click a button and then your phone can slightly vibrate, which creates a really nice feeling that all the details are covered. And of course, you want to use the UI library, which will make it look and feel like it's a native part of Telegram. And you can access it by the QR code, and it is very much recommended. Also, recently, uh, Telegram browser was launched, and it also incorporates on-site. So one thing you can do is you can integrate your apps with on-site natively, and it goes back to this point about the connection between the ground and truth, which is actually decentralized, and and everything which is above that layer, which is often centralized in real apps. So again, if we come back to the example of some NFT collections on OpenSea, we can see that the website is centralized. The domain is just bought through a centralized entity. The DNS is just something that's registered on the server. The certificates for encryption, they actually help, but they're also issued by a centralized entity. And yeah, even the picture of the NFT is often simply a link, sometimes even without hashtags. And those sites allow to host something in a fully decentralized way, where where your domain is an NFT on Ton, where the site itself is either hosted through Ton storage or through ADNL, which is Ton's networking layer, and that um, that allows you to create something which is fully decentralized from top to bottom. Of course, sometimes you will have to use services which are where you have a conventional web service, and it is somewhat centralized, but that's more of a federated system where you choose the provider of the RPC of Tom, for instance. Now, here are some best practices for notifications. Again, one of the uh, things is that you cannot, if you have a very large user base, you cannot send notifications as messages to everyone at the same time. So you might want to do it in chunks. And again, you want to upload as much as possible to that. And of course, you don't want to spam the user, because that will really hurt your retention, whereas not in notifications at all will also not help. So you have to find the golden balance. Yeah, so sometimes you can uh, consider the location of the user for sending the notification at the right time, because the time of the notification is really influential on the retention rates. So you want to send it usually between 5 and 7 p.m. And we're here for Ton. So Telegram web apps are really nicely integrated with the Ton blockchain. And first of all, this thing that I showed you earlier automatically integrates Ton Connect. And then afterwards, you can automatically use wallet with your app, and it will all happen inside of Telegram. And the user will be able to transfer money to your app or perform other kinds of transactions. And there's also Ton Space, which makes non-custodial. So this is an actually decentralized solution that allows you to reach a lot of people. And again, with typical applications of crypto, what you have often is that there is a large barrier for the user to install a wallet, to figure out seed phrases and all that stuff. And here it achieves the same result, and even the same level of decentralization, while also benefiting from the ease of use of all of this, and increasing your chances of hitting barrier edge. Yeah, so you can just use Context. document for this connection. And here is a resource with a list of nice libraries, dev tools, and examples of Telegram mini apps. And you can scan the QR code for them. All right. So now it's time for you to build over the next 2 days on this hackathon, and I will be excited to see what you come up with. Do you have any questions?
I love the name. How did you come up with the name? Tomsky.
Because it was so one, it was a free domain that was unoccupied with still and also it sounds like an aristocratic last name, which is also nice.
Like the last name, exactly. Is there a person who would change the last name to Tomsky in the team?
Not yet.
Yeah. Food for thought.
I'm curious, when you develop the mini app, do you develop it inside the Telegram, or do you do it first in the browser and then you move it to the Telegram, like a Telegram mini app environment?
So often it is much easier to test it on your local machine. So there, the only way to test it on your local machine and through a mini app is to set up a tunnel like Chizhov. And usually it is easier to just do it locally for the functionality, but then for the styles and for the integration, you will have to open it as a mini app. And yeah, also one thing is you want to integrate with the theme of the user, even if it's custom, and to check all of that, and then it just fits in, you have to open it natively. Yep.
I have a project for this hackathon. Can I talk about it a little? Just
Yep.
I can back.
Yes, actually,
I know the question is I want to talk about my project because
No, we finished with
okay, good.
Any more questions, guys? No more questions. Okay, perfect. Oh, I see one.
Yeah, you just mentioned wallet bot. Was it the wallet integrated into Telegram? And I heard it was being disabled in France. And do you know the reason?
I'm not sure about the specifics, but I assume it's just compliance with the EU regulation, which are pretty strict. And yeah, I think you can get residents of Palau and access it with the government feature. Yeah, get digital residency.
Okay, so a general question. Imagine I don't have any technical knowledge. I have a project, and I don't know if I should build it on the Ethereum, Solana, or Token. Okay. As somebody who works as a professional in blockchain, would you recommend me to develop my project on Tone or not? What are the advantages and disadvantages of working on Tone blockchain in comparison to Ethereum, Solana, and blah, blah, blah?
That's it. You stop now. What's the next question?
Okay, so the first and the main selling point for a lot of applications is just the fees. So, for instance, if you mentioned means like what was happening recently with hamster combat and dogs and all of that, it would be very expensive to do this on any other blockchain, and don't set a record for the highest transaction rate. And
No, I know about the user base.
no, I'm talking about
Transaction fees.
the transaction fees and the rate of transactions per minute. And
How about aid on use? Well, I mean, it's easier for the respect of the local musician rather than home, or it's easier to launch it there you go.
currently, I would say it's harder to develop a smart contract, for instance, on Tom.
But
So
it's getting better, right? It's getting better.
yes. So there are actually two reasons why you would build something on Tom. One is because of the intrinsic qualities of Tom, and that depends on your applications. For a lot of apps, you can build them on either, and the only trade-off you have is like commission fees. And then the second reason why you're going to build on Tom is just to access the Telegram ecosystem, because what you want to do often is you want to create something that spreads by itself, and then if a user on average attracts 1.01 new user, then you get yourself a viral app with exponential growth. And if it's 0.99, then it's it's still growth because a user attracts a new user, but then it's stagnates. And so there are a lot of little details that are important for it.
Yeah, great question. Any more questions?
Could you remember from which app we should start first? Is it the blueprint or if I never develop app on Telegram, which one I should start with?
Yeah, so the Blueprints version for Telegram Mini apps is this thing where you just write the command and then it sets up everything for you. So it has the UI features, the scripts loaded from Telegram so that you can authorize the user, and it also has the DOM integration.
Thank you.
Great, amazing stuff. Anybody else? No?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well done. All right. We actually don't have anything planned for later. So I just want to say thank you once again. Thank you for coming. Thank you for participating. And I hope to see you pitch on Sunday with your amazing product.
Ça me tue, ça me tue. Et tu fais quoi? Tu fais quoi de bon? C'est quoi ton bon truc? Oh, dommage. Acho que posso fazer.
Não, também já contei.
Un bro, c'est pas vrai parce que c'est là. Ouais, j'ai pas pensé. Ah, c'est un M en fait. C'est deux M. Ouais, sur le... Il y a une histoire sur le M. Ouais. Mais sur le M, c'est qu'il y a un truc. Et en fait, ouais, ça combine avec le. Ok. Ok. Congrats.